So who's your favorite shark? Who did you like the most?
So all of them are investors. So I can't name any one person.
Oh my God.
Apart from just one person, everybody else is an investor in the company. So I can't play favorites. So we had gone there, and of course, this is the first time we had been to a show like that. Close to about 17, 18 cameras are pointed at you. Lights close to like bright as sun is there around you. And now you have India's perhaps some of the best entrepreneurs in India.
I'll make you an offer you cannot refuse.
Hello and welcome to another fantastic episode of Pitch Cafe podcast. Today I am more than proud to introduce to you a very young next-gen entrepreneur founder who is revolutionizing the healthcare space. I'm here sitting in Silicon Valley in the United States. To me, one of the top expenses I have to think about is healthcare. Healthcare is broken down not only here, but in many parts of the world. We need people to fix this. And one way to fix healthcare issues is by preventing healthcare issues and predicting them beforehand so you can manage diseases better. So if I want to do this, should I be a magician or can I just use data and analytics or maybe something more than that? There is a magician here with me on board on Pitch Cafe podcast who is doing and weaving that magic on a daily basis. Let's find out what business he's in. Hey, most importantly, he was on Shark Tank recently. Shark Tank India hailed him as a very humble founder for all the accomplishments he brought in with his brother. But that's not all. He has been to curriculum which are put forth by the government of India through the FICCI and Stanford Graduate School of Business. These are highly competitive ecosystems. To get there, you have to have a lot of metal, lot of traction, and you should have a solid business you run. So somebody who is disrupting the healthcare ecosystem, let's invite him on board. Without further ado, bringing on Agragesh Ramani of Acrannolife Genomics. Welcome to Pitch Cafe podcast, Agragesh. Truly a pleasure and honor to have you here.
Thanks, Vida. Pleasure.
Awesome. So Agragesh, I can't stop myself from asking, you've just been on Shark Tank India. Tell us all about what happened in Shark Tank and tell us your story of grit, determination, passion, and vision. These are the four words which define you, which is the core pillar of your philosophies as in how I speak more with you. Tell me all about Shark Tank and what do these four pillars mean to you?
So Shark Tank happened just recently. It got aired, I think, on 27th of Feb. And this was shot some time back. We went through the full process through various stages and we were helped very much by the Sony team. They coached us and helped us on how to pitch a complicated business such as ours in terms of a easily understandable way to the audience.
Yeah, tell me what is your business and how did Sony coach you?
So we primarily have built a technology which enables early detection and monitoring of chronic diseases, and this uses certain biochemical markers and genomic markers which are proprietary to us, for which we have attained US patent, and now the patents are applicable in different parts of the world. It's been granted, and this directly works as an impact close to about a $20 billion industry. That's our market size that we are targeting.
Wow.
And in the starting phase, we are looking at organ health monitoring post-transplant, like kidney, liver, heart, various transplant to monitor the organ health post that. And subsequently, we are moving towards various other chronic conditions to detect any problem much ahead of time and where it is still fixable. This includes but not limited to cancer recurrence.
Wow.
And this is where we are building. We have close to about 14 other patents that are being filed, and we have attained pretty much FDA approval in India, with CDSCO clearing us. We were also facilitated by the Honorable President of India, Sri Ramnath Kovindji, for our work that we did in COVID.
Very nice.
The Honorable Minister of Health, Government of India, Sri Mansukh Mandavia, has also spoken about us and tweeted about us for the work we did in COVID to enable point of care monitoring for COVID-19 using our technologies. And the reason why I say three pillars of grit, determination, passion, and vision is we started this business or let's say this product from a very close association in our own family. So we have been through kidney transplant in our family. We have seen this overall ecosystem way back in 96 till date, and how this has changed over a period of time in India and the US and various parts of the world. And we significantly wanted to figure out a way to help the patient community. And that's the primary reason why Avinash, my elder brother, was focused all through to his PhD to work on this. And once we have built this out, in India, building a world-class technology from India, it's pretty hard.
Why do you say that? Competition is one thing. What else is missing in India?
Genomics, when we started in 2016, was not very well known. RT-PCR was still a fancy item.
Right.
Now it's everywhere, every district you have an RT-PCR because of COVID. We changed the last 1 year. But back in 2016, when we started, that ecosystem was not there.
Yeah.
Now we have that ecosystem. Now we are building it. But it has taken some time for us. There is always you can look at any startup in India particularly. A biotech startup, building it takes quite some time. And getting the physicians, the doctors to trust your product, to trial your product, to test your product in different phases is a very challenging task. It took us close to about 3 years just to get that break. And today we are proud to say that some of the leading surgeons in India as well as outside are part of our company and our advisors. We work with some of the leading giants in healthcare space in the US as well, in India as well. And they have supported us in the initial phases. And now we are also, our data is published also in some of the leading international conferences about our efficacy.
Yeah, you have big labels, you said, in the US and in India. What kind of labels are you talking about? Are they universities? Are they hospitals?
These are large healthcare institutions. I cannot name indirectly all of them, but these are large healthcare institutions rated as one of the world's first two, you can say, healthcare providers in the world.
Right.
So some of them are working.
Fantastic. So Agragesh, here you are with Avinash, both of you geeks, and you went to Shark Tank India. What was it like for you to pitch this such a complicated idea? And what was it really like to win Shark Tank and to be there with the judges and, to do the show? What was it like?
So we had gone there, and of course, this is the first time we had been to a show like that. Close to about 17, 18 cameras are pointed at you. Lights close to like bright as sun is there around you. And now you have India's, perhaps some of the best entrepreneurs in India who have each built very, very successful businesses there, who have garnered a lot of experience sitting and asking questions for about 2.5 hours. You're standing there and answering that. Of course, we got ad in 27th February, close to about 1.5 million views in YouTube, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of visits in the website, a lot of queries across India about our test. The show got ad for about 10 minutes in the national television and everywhere. But the pitch was about 2.5 hours, ranging from how the business started to how the business will scale. And of course, one of the things that I said has gone viral is a potential revenue the next 5 to 7 years of close to about 4,000 crores, which is like $500 to $600 million. So that became pretty much viral overall.
Did you really say that? What got you to say that? I'm sure the sharks loved it, or maybe they got skeptical, but why did you say that?
Both has happened. So some of the sharks loved the ambition and the potential impact that is going to be brought in. And of course, some of the sharks said, you're just talking in the sky, and what is the basis of your numbers? Of course, we have the basis because the problems that we are solving, for example, let's say transplant care, which the product is already out and the patents have been granted, close to 200 to 300,000 patients are there. And even if you assign a very small number to that, right, that's a pretty large monetization that is possible just in India. The global market, there are US competing companies, which are of course 5 to 6 times more costly than us and takes a longer time. We are more efficient as well in the test, have revenues of close to $600 million. So there is a basis and premise where in the US market, there are certain companies who have reached a figure of $600, $700 million annually in revenue, which we are disrupting. So that revenue sharing multiples is still possible on a global effort. Certain other chronic conditions are not even targeted by them, which we are working. So that is obviously possible to hit that number.
Yeah, and in India, chronic illnesses have been targeted episodically. There are medicines when you have a condition, but to predict and to prevent and for monitoring for a long time, there's very little being done. In fact, nobody has targeted it seriously like you guys are. And also, no healthcare companies are at scale like you are talking about. There's no reliance in healthcare, is there? There is no Infosys of healthcare. There's no
So
Tata.
Reliance is entering genomics right now.
But they are.
We just don't want to provoke them.
Yeah, and there's no Walmart or there's no Google for healthcare. There's no massive scale startup. It would be amazing to see one come from India where you're disrupting the way people think about healthcare. We just go to the doctor when we are sick. You're changing that whole workflow. So that is amazing. So who's your favorite shark? Who did you like the most?
So all of them are investors. So I can't name any one person.
Oh my God.
Apart from just one person, everybody else is an investor in the company. So I can't play favorites. So yeah.
So how does it work? So you applied to the show, you made it, and then you go and you pitch. And after you pitch, they say, okay, you get all this publicity. And then what? Do they really seriously invest in you? Or do they get on your cap tables? Or do they put you in a network of investors? How does Shark Tank help founders?
To what I heard as much is that they do help a lot. If you look at previous year's company, one of the sharks had handhold them to build a product. So that's there. So they have done handholding. They have open networks. So they do the work. Ultimately, for a shark or any investor, right? You take any VC fund or anybody. The primary aspect is to see where the founders are having a vision and how the world will look like in the next 5 to 7 years, and how this company will revolutionize and change the face of an industry, the face of how this technology is going to impact, how it's going to revolutionize and change. So today, if we do Google flashback of 10 years back, since you mentioned Google, everybody was using potentially some other search engine to search, and today this company has close to 95% market share in the search, and it's like a ubiquitous verb to just do it right now. For us, that's what we are looking at Trunome as well. Trunome becomes a single test which you do as a verb to make sure that in the next 5 to 7 years timeline, people use the test to identify where things are going wrong and how things can be improved, based on which they can go ahead and talk to the doctor, physician, or any other support staff on what they need to take as an action item to help them improve their life. And this we are starting with a very complicated problem on the organ health standpoint, and we are gradually moving towards various other chronic diseases, because once you are having that chronic diseases, you have to monitor them. If you don't monitor them, for example, you take basic intestine disorder, it leads to colorectal cancer. So in all probability, if you can control it before, you will not have a colorectal cancer. And if you don't have a colorectal cancer, from an insurance angle, insurance don't have to pay for a colorectal cancer surgery versus a very simple item that they can do to fix the health and make sure they are very well. Not just from an insurance angle, from a patient's angle. You're doing various colonoscopy and various other aspects on a frequent way. Those things can be taken out. A lot of improvement in the healthcare can be built in. That's where we are looking at. And of course, as an investor, if they share the vision of how the company needs to be built, then of course, those are the investors we want to have and change the world as we see it.
On that wrap-up note, Agragesh, what is a good way for people to reach you? And if they want to work with you, whether they're doctors or surgeons or investors who want to write the next 8 to 10 million or part of that check for your Series A, what is a good way to reach you? And what are your plans for future after this whole Shark Tank phase? Now that you are out there, what is your future plans?
Yeah, so the best way to reach us is through a simple email. That's AR@Acrannolife. You will have access to that. And of course, in our website, there is a chat bot. So anything you write over there, our team is going to see it and get back to it. Both the aspects are there. And after Shark Tank, we have already got inquiries across India, and we are actively working to help the patients who are in need. Just today, 10 minutes before our podcast, we just saved somebody's life literally by predicting how the health of the organ is and taking a precautionary measure immediately. And we want to just improve that scale to help show in align with our vision and mission to help close to 1 billion lives on a positive way.
Fantastic. So on that note, all viewers here, you know how to reach Agragesh on his website and on the chatbot if you have some queries for him. With that, very reluctantly, I want to wrap up this podcast. Any last thoughts for people who are applying for Shark Tank, who dream about Shark Tank? Any last thoughts before we wrap up?
It's all about hard work and making sure that you can say a story true to yourselves and true to the audience. And then, of course, your application goes through and they help the way forward.
Fantastic. Thank you, Agragesh, for the most amazing half hour you spent with me. I know you're a busy man. You sleep like just a couple of hours every night and you stay up very late, wake up super early. Truly an inspiration to all founders and all of us here. Thank you so much for your time and hope to have you back again.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Yeah, bye.